This video is sponsored by Sakurako. What's up guys, this is Coach Donny from Elevate Yourself, where we change lives through volleyball, training, and inspirational content. If you're new to this channel, I'm a volleyball coach and semi-professional player who does Haikyuu reaction videos and other volleyball content, which you can watch in the playlist linked in the description box. I finally finished watching Season 4, so now we'll talk about my top 5 favorite moments from Season 4, as well as my new starting 7 players up through Season 4. Make sure you watch my other top 5 favorite moments from Season 1 and 2, and I just realized that I never did Season 3, so I need to make that one in the near future. There were many great moments from Season 4, especially since we had 25 glorious episodes to work with, and honestly, it was really hard for me to choose because there were so many great moments. So special thanks to all my Patreon members for giving me suggestions on which scenes to rewatch and choose from those. Now let's get this Haikyuu party started. The first one is from episode 2, all the way back in the beginning. Takeda Sensei, one of my favorite characters. Yes, I do remember this scrimmage very clearly. Actually, I don't think it's a scrimmage. I think this is back at the training camp. Yes, I remember why I chose this one. This is Hinata's personal moment moving in slow motion. I don't know if I pointed this out when I first reacted to this, but what really sets the mood for this scene is the light reflecting off of the floating dust particles. That just makes you feel kind of more dreamy, but also makes the scene more dramatic. And the director is really preparing the audience for a dramatic moment. And I think this is where we get to see Hinata's key moment, where he either decides to walk away from this and not take advantage of this opportunity because he's just a ball boy, or to change his mindset, what we call a paradigm shift, and he chooses to change his perspective and view it as an opportunity to work on other skills, which is his mental game. So let's see what Hinata's thought process is again. Yeah, you see those dust particles floating. Dramatic music, very airy. All these people in his life who've doubted him. Yeah, buried his head in those pads. And I did turn the volume up a little bit more because I think I did miss out on some of the dramatic music because I was so focused on watching the scenes. Oh, and Dr. Wily, his biggest doubter. That's got to be the universal sound for stress in anime. You can go home anytime. Ooh, those are some painful words. And Ushijima, the truth speaker. Find it. Why are you here? What's amazing is that Hinata is actually initiating this thought process on his own. So either a parent has to ingrain this in you, or maybe just growing up in the mountain, kind of in a more rural part of Japan, where things don't really come easy to you. You have to bike home in the snow, uphill, downhill. You have to travel far just to get these basic opportunities. And then even when it came to his volleyball journey, he still had to fight for his own experience, right? He got his friends to make a team for him, and it wasn't as simple as just joining a team. He had to make one. And then if he wanted to train, he had to convince his friends to help him. So nothing came easy. So I don't know if his parents taught him this. I think it would have been cool to have maybe a flashback of maybe some life lessons he learned from a grandparent or a parent. But I am not surprised that his whole life, his theme is you gotta earn everything. And I think that's what's so inspirational about Hinata. And we see that here come into full light, where he is consciously, again, having to make his own experience because nobody else is gonna give it to him. Wait a minute, what was that second voice? I feel like there's a second voice talking. Think about what it is that only I can do here. Let's see if we can listen. Yeah, I don't know who that. Maybe it's like an older Hinata or one of his teammates. Ooh, exhaling with that fog coming out. Coming out victorious from the closet. And nobody even knows this mind shift that he's just had. And Ushijima with the blank stare. I love that proud moment holding those broomsticks. Let's enjoy this camera angle view for a little bit. We have that camera angle looking up at Hinata, almost like he's standing victorious over a mountain, making him feel bigger than he actually is. And I think that's a great analogy for this experience. If you look at it on paper, black and white, you're really not going to get a lot out of it if you're just shagging balls at a practice for somebody else to work on their skills, right? That's what it looks like if we just look at it purely objectively. But Hinata has found a way to make this a bigger experience than it actually is. And so this camera angle is really indicative of that. And then he has those broomsticks, like he's not afraid to get down dirty and work hard and do the nitty gritty. He also has 2 broomsticks, meaning he's willing to do twice the amount of dirty work to earn his opportunity to get better. What's funny is they still do a great job of keeping Hinata's height in proper perspective. I've talked about this a lot from previous episodes where sometimes you can have exaggerated proportions, but if the proportions are off, you kind of lose the identity of the character. We all know that Hinata is one of the shortest players in this anime, and even though he does feel bigger than life from this camera angle, you still get a sense of how short he is because look how low he is relative to the doorway. So this is top-notch animation here. I did not expect myself to react to this scene again. I was just planning to reminisce through all these favorite moments, but I actually am looking forward to rewatching all the episodes because just watching this scene again has really inspired some new thoughts, new perspectives, and a new appreciation for what's going on. Man, already feeling emotional after the first moment. Let's move on to the second one here. This next one is from episode 4, and the title of this episode is Take It Easy. Let's see if that gives you guys a hint. I remember that moment. Hinata's so in tune studying people. And I remember the big guy struggling. That's why I chose this one. And I feel for you, all the tall people that are a little bit gangly and awkward. And everyone thinks, gosh, you're tall, shouldn't you be better? But, you know, try controlling these long limbs on your own. What's really interesting is there are so many animes out there that celebrate short stature. I think that's just a big part of Japanese culture. Is I think they are aware that they are undersized in the context of the world of sports, but they do not succeed in the Olympics due to their physical stature, right? They're incredibly disciplined, they work hard, and they never give up. I mean, if you really think about it, actually, let's look up the most recent Tokyo 2022 medal count by countries. This was a really cool statistic. So here's the official total medal count from the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. United States with 113 medals, 39 gold. China in second place, right? One of the world's largest population. And then Russia, 71 total medals, another very big population. Great Britain, it's a small population, but similar to the United States, they just have a lot of great resources and development programs to improve their athletes. And then an even smaller population, Japan, coming in 5th place. An even smaller population, Japan, coming in at 5th place out of the entire world at 58 medals. That's amazing. They have half the number of medals as US, and I'm pretty sure they are much smaller of a population and smaller in size too. And that just goes to show the power of like discipline, hard work, technique, and belief, and never giving up. And you can see it in the training for all their sports. So anyways, let's go back to Haikyu here. I think it's really great that Haikyu took the time to also create empathy for some of the taller players, because it's very easy to dismiss the taller players and to forget how much they struggle in their own way. It might be easy for them to hit and block sometimes, but to move that big of a body, there's a reason why they tend to be slower, because that's just a lot of bone and muscle to move. And then to develop the coordination with your limbs growing faster than you can keep up with, because it's easy to just celebrate that underdog, small athlete mentality. But we also forget that even the taller people have their own underdog stories as well. And then how fitting that Hinata is the one that comes up and encourages him. But I love that he's not giving up though. Yeah, it's a lot of conditioning. Shibata. I feel sad for him. I mean, this now that I've turned on the music, it definitely brings out the emotion of the scene. That's a sad moment when he said, "I wish you were invited instead of me." And even in this moment, I forgot his name already. Is it Shibata? The tall guy in the green shirt. He retracts his statement and has empathy for Hinata, realizing that, wow, I might have said something that might have bothered him, because I'm sure Hinata would have loved to be in my place. He's just a good guy here. And sometimes tall people just feel like they're on a team because they're tall and not because they're good. And here we go. Hinata always finding the positive light. Yeah, Hinata admits his dependence on Kageyama's skill. Oh, he touched the nerve there. That is true. I think a lot of us would prefer to be really tall as a natural ability, because you can do a lot with that. It never gets old how intense Hinata gets. Okay, I forgot that he was actually trying to chew him out, but inadvertently cheering him up. Oh yes. To me, this is a sign of a true competitor, when you want to play your opponent at their best. And for him to encourage, I'm just going to call him Shibata. I'm sorry if I'm calling him the wrong name. Encouraging the opponent and making them better, because that is only going to make you better in the long term. And that's what it's about. Competing, right? It is about being your best and experiencing what it is to be at your best potential. Now people are not sure what to make of this conversation. And now Hinata, the coach, comes out. Look at those glistening eyes from his big simple eyes here. Yakuzawa, now I remember. Yakuzawa. Ooh, okay, we got the 2 meters guy diving. He just needs to set him higher. I think I remember. Yeah, now that Yakuzawa's got a little belief, let's take it easy. Relax. There you go. Slow down the game, pass it higher, give yourself time to set up. I remember why this was one of my favorite scenes. And this was that reference all the way back, what, episode 23 or 24? When he told Karasuno to take it easy. That is an analogy for life. You can always try to make time for yourselves, to sort out things. Another parallel that I just understood just now. A parallel for life, not just volleyball. When you deliberately take it easy. Okay. Counter. Okay, now they go back and actually get to see what advice Hinata is giving to Yakuzawa. Now he's going to hit over the block because now he has time to actually jump. Whoa! I would love to be the anime actor just to do those noises. Oh, oh, yes. The awkward bicep curl celebration. Nice cue, hey! Oh, giving him the high five. I forgot why they're staring at him. That was a very heartwarming moment there. Wasn't just all about the action this season, but the personal development, the connections, the growth. That's what Haikyuu is about. That's why this anime is so great. This one is from episode 16. Starting off with Tsuki serving. I remember their game plan was to serve Iran short. Oh, Tanaka coming in. A fantastic dig from Daichi. And Nishinoya likes that one. Kageyama looking at Tanaka. Is Tanaka ready? This is the moment that I relate to the most. I was just being a normal kid, a normal athlete. Don't really feel super special at anything. Yeah, I remember accepting that I was never going to be taller than 5'10". Even though I wished I was so many times. I would wake up from sleep when I was in high school just wishing I grew like an inch more, but that never happened. And the analogy coming up on the cliff. Yeah. To me, this was really mind-blowing, learning that even Tanaka had some low confidence moments because he just seems like one of the most confident players out there. And what's special about this backstory is that you realize that he's not just being cocky for the sake of being cocky. This is something that he's worked on himself for a long time, and how he's had to have this bigger than life attitude about how he goes about things because he is an average player. I'll add more as we continue to watch because there's some good moments here. Some really great illustration is like this mountain that you have to overcome, being an average person that just seems to get bigger and further away. Nah, you don't have time to look. You don't have the luxury of looking back when you have to move forward, because nothing's gonna come easy to average people. Yeah. Yes, the scream. And Kageyama's like, yeah, he's ready. Getting goosebumps. Getting goosebumps. Oh, these animations of the hands are beautiful. And I've turned the music up so I can feel the intensity of here. Oh, yes, hitting that sharp angle. With that wind just cascading away. Alright, I know we're revisiting this, but we gotta watch that part again. We gotta go back to where he screams. And watching that hand animation. That scratchy edge, that's so hard to do. Laughter! Man, this music making me emotional, man. Hand creeping in. Oh, even his girlfriend to be is watching him in awe. I can do it. Oh, that cut and that cloud. Man, he had his Asahi moment. Beautiful, man. He got a compliment from Tsuki. Nice kill. Hoshiyumi was impressed, and the sister is in it too. The sister is so proud of him. Look at that cheesy smile. That was a good way to end the match. I am looking forward to listening to the music more during my second round of reactions because you guys gotta understand, you guys have watched Haikyuu probably like 10 to 20 times. My first time, I'm trying to read the subtitles, learn all these different characters, and it makes it more confusing when you got these characters that are twins. And then trying to process the story, and then trying to remember all these names, so it's a lot. Now that I'm actually able to rewatch some of these moments, I can enjoy some of those subtleties of the music, now that I know the characters, and now I know how far they've come, and then being able to revisit the backstories again. I'm excited. Let's take a quick break and enjoy some yummy snacks from my favorite Japanese snack company, Sakurako, which is a monthly subscription service where you get a variety of authentic Japanese snacks straight from Japan, delivered right to your door. This month's Sakurako theme is Taste of Hokkaido. Each box is filled with fresh and authentic Hokkaido tea and delights. Each box comes with a really cool pamphlet where it talks about the variety of snacks featured, where they're from, and a little bit more about the community of Sakurako and the companies that contribute the snacks. You get to read about the history, see cool photos of where these snacks are from, and also some amazing artwork. So you get to enjoy the snacks on multiple levels. Let's select a few treats to try. This one looks like donuts, and I love donuts. I cannot read Japanese, but I have not been disappointed with any snacks from Sakurako. I like to open the packs near the mic because these food sounds are irresistible. Ooh, this smells like a little eggy, a little milky. Got some sugar crystals on the outside, a little soft and squishy there. Very light, not too sweet, very much like a Japanese donut that's not overly fried. I noticed the word milk, so I was right. Definitely a good milk, sweet flavor. One thing that's great about the Sakurako snacks is that they're meant to be enjoyed with green tea, and each of the boxes does come with some green tea. Let's get one more. Now for the second snack. I love my Asian red bean. That does look like red bean, right? A little bit soft on the outside, but firm. Ooh, this is a beautiful design here. I think that's the Sakurako logo on both sides. I'm gonna rip it in half so we can see what's on the inside. Ooh, a little flaky. Yes, red bean, look at that glory. Gotta hold this with two hands because it is nice and flaky. Wow, that's some really, really good tasting red bean. Gotta pick up the flakes. The outside kind of reminds me of like an ice cream cone, and even though this has been sitting in a box for about a week or so from Japan, the red bean is super moist, like someone just pounded it right in front of you. For those of you who have ever had like a red bean mochi that's been freshly pounded. So if you're a fan of red bean, you're gonna love this one. This is really yummy. Another cool thing about the Sakurako boxes is each month comes with a different type of Tupperware, which we'll show at the end of this video. If you want to try your own Sakurako treats and enjoy them during my Haikyu reaction videos, make sure you use my discount code linked below to get $5 off your first order, and we can enjoy these snacks together. This next one is from episode 22, Pythons. I remember what that word meant very early on. I love that shaky camera, kind of like you feel like you're right there looking through Tsuki's glasses. Soft block from Tsuki. Okay. My opinion, I think Otsumu tries to be a little too athletic. That's good for deception, but not for consistency. Wait, is this where they switch roles? I still don't remember which one is the actual setup. Oh! Goes in for the fake? Does he set his brother? I already forgot what happened. Okay, the blonde one is the setter, I remember now. But he does set Iran on nobody up. But... oh, I'm gonna do this with him. Who's there? Spinning in the eye. Can you see it spinning in my eye? He shrugs his shoulder. Man, that replay, those three moments. You know what's interesting? I wonder if it's a coincidence that after this amazing dig, Hyakuzawa is the first one they go to. Maybe another parallel from that episode where Hinata was the one that encouraged him. Maybe I'm reading too deep into it, but one thing I've learned is there's no coincidences in Haikyu. I like how he's looking up instead of forward at the game, even though he's actually there. Just these nature images with the ball. And now we get to... Ooh, and once I saw that python here, I'm getting a lot of goosebumps during watching my favorite moments, man. I feel like my heart rate's going to be unstable tonight. Yeah, that's like anytime you have a leap in performance, that's that moment where you can just climb another leap up. And you see his forms are red from that dig. And even Hinata's like amazed at what he just did. And once again, reflecting. This is so reminiscent of when he was in that closet. That closet moment coming full circle. I remember that quote from Takeda Sensei. This is what Hinata's been doing. This next one, number 5, is from episode 23, The Birth of the Serene King. And I remember I was a little confused as to why Tanaka said, "Don't set me," because he wasn't playing well. And now he's reflecting on all those moments he got blocked. Yeah, sometimes you have this awareness, but your body is not doing what you know you can do. I think this also is a great way to show Tanaka's heart for the team. Even though he loves to have these glamorous celebrations, at the end of the day, he is a team player. Yes, you don't want your players to lose confidence, but for him to humbly say, "Don't set me because I am not helping the team with my hitting right now." That's why Karasuno is so good, is we got team players there. And can't wait to, like, I remember Kageyama's response, so calm. No. And we get to very soon find out here after this really cool rally. He sets him again. But I think it gets blocked. Yeah, and then but another cover. Oh, no kick save this time. Kageyama! Ooh, yeah, Ron playing some defense. Is it another falling set from Atsumu? Another athletic play? Yes. But you can't hit at Nishinoya, man. He's just gonna come right back out with another dig. Oh man, we get to see goosebumps again, man. This is the 3rd time in a row. One thing you're always going to get is an honest answer from Kageyama. One of the best things you can say to a teammate that's discouraged is to say, "Hey man, we need you. We need your passes, we need your sets, we need your hits. Like, you can do this. We need you, the team needs you." And that helps pull people out of their mind and into the team mindset. And the player goes from playing for themselves and their own performance to playing and doing whatever they need to do for the team's benefit. So that's one of my recommendations. Just say, "We need you." Yeah, that's right. He just put that sharp angle, helping to defeat Inari in the first set. That's not for me to decide. Just give your hitter a chance to do something with it. Just put it in there right in the sweet spot. Let him make the decision. Push it to the antenna. That's how I like my sets right there. Give him options. Open up the whole court. That's why setters need to set all the way to the antenna. And I can't wait for that image of Tanaka jumping off the cliff and leaping. The trust. Jumping off that mountain to a spike. Crushing it down the line right on there. Unfortunately, the ball compression animation was not very good, but still, the scene is amazing. Oh, man, he makes that leap. That was a sick line shot. The Serene King yet evolves to another level. And the older sister could not be more proud. Arigato, Tanaka. Is that what he's thinking? Compliments all around. Some of you might be wondering why I'm so critical of the ball compression here and what could be better about it. Because it might look okay to the naked eye, but compare this to K-pop's ball compression animation. So this is the worst thing you don't want to do when you're animating ball compression or ball bounces. You don't want to just draw a circle for the ball and then create an oval. There has to be some wrinkle in the ball, and more importantly, when you have a ball contacting the floor at a high velocity, there should be an expansion of the bottom surface area. So it should be like a circle like this and then very flat at the bottom, because the surface of the ball is matching the surface area of the floor, not just keeping the same surface area but squishing there. So it just looks a little artificial. And unfortunately, it did take a little bit away from the moment. I think if they had the same ball compression animation, I don't care what they do, even if they just took the same one that they use for K-pop's jump serve where it crushes in the floor, just take that same ball animation and put it on the line, it would have really made this scene over the top. But regardless, it's still an awesome scene. I decided to add one more bonus moment because episode 24 is probably maybe my favorite episode of the entire anime. Definitely the most riveting. All the character development comes to a climax, and definitely a very strong parallel from this one compared to the beginning of season 4. Let's enter the monster's ball. I like that, Tsuki taking that deep breath before the serve. We don't need the memories. Smirk. I think this one he serves short to Iran. And Iran's probably so irritated. Earning a free ball. Chance ball. That's good when you have your middles be able to pass free balls. Oh, they're already saying we gotta be faster than them. And Atsumu and his brother are already lightning fast. Akagi, he's a pretty good libero too. Uh-oh, the coach is starting to yell at them, slow it down. And what's really cool about when the coach started yelling, slow it down, you see how the edges of the screen start to become black and gray, kind of like you're getting tunnel vision. And I thought that was such a cool effect that I did not notice until I started rewatching this. And that shows how when you're in the zone and on the court, sometimes you block out everything else for good and bad. The good reason is you're so focused on your task. The bad reason is you can't really have a broader perspective of what's going on. You can't hear what your coach is saying, and you probably can't hear what your teammates are saying. And here we see that they're starting to rush it faster and faster. And even though the coach is yelling from the sideline, slow it down, take it easy, the tunnel vision gets more and more narrow. But that was such a cool effect of the edges. I'm curious if anybody else noticed that. Straighto. Man, of course, another dig from Daichi. Falling fast set to Tanaka. Yeah, sometimes when you're rushing it and you don't really take your time to finish the set, it does die inside. and you force your hitters in bad positions. I like how he's thinking as he's talking. Yeah, everyone's gritting their teeth, trying to push the tempo too hard, strangling themselves. That's a good way to put it. Can I just say that Hinata is just super cute? And we see Hyakuzawa reference. Yes. Telling him to take it easy. Roku. Can we just enjoy the animation of Kageyama shaking his head? I want you guys to really understand how difficult it is to have a delayed motion. What I mean by that is the head is a still object. He's moving here, and as he's moving back, the hair is also kind of following behind, just to show like the jerkiness and the intensity of the speed of his movement. And then he's also moving his mouth like that. And then the sweat comes off after the hair fling. So you got 3 speeds of movement in a single animation. The head, then the hair following, and then the sweat falling off. Let's enjoy that for a moment here. That was great. Yeah, even Tsuki is taking another breath on the court. And I love these moments where everyone's having these conversations in their head. All those moments where Hinata is just wanting to get his opportunity. And Suga's so proud. Now everyone has a chance to reload and refocus. Goosebumps coming again. That's very perceptive there. Coach Ukai saying that when you do have a high pass, you do slow it down for yourselves to get set up and really plan, but you also give more time for your opponent to plan and set up. And he said that's okay too, because you don't want to get so caught up in worrying about the opponent that you sacrifice your own performance. Take care of your side first, and then if you need, then you can focus on the opponent. Sometimes we get so distracted by external factors that we forget to focus on internal factors. I love that they have people watching on a TV screen, a laptop, a tablet, and then also a phone. I forgot who he sets here. Or does it set Tanaka for the finish? No, get blocked on the sharp angle, but a cover. From Kageyama. Oh, we got Tsuki reaching out. Just a fingertip. Damn, I just got another zing of goosebumps on my arm trying to imitate Tsuki. That impact. That scratchiness. Let's see if there's any ball compression when Daichi was passing the ball there. I don't know. This is a pretty fast frame, but we have a really clear animation of the ball, and I think that one's CGI because it looks a little too perfect. But we have the sweat explosion and then also the scratchiness, that furred style of the edges to show that intense movement and impact from the ball there. Suki! Akagi with the save. Everyone's rooting for the underdog, Karasuno. Is this the moment where he says, this timing? Do we get to relive the moment? No, it's not this. Oh, it is. Minus tempo. Kono ichi. Korai. Kono kakedo. Oh man, this whole scene is so perfect. Man, that spinning off the ball, that intensity, even though that doesn't happen in real life, that was such a great way to illustrate the intensity of the moment. And we have that same effort that Tsuki made, but from the opponent. Everyone's just looking in so much awe. Can't tell if Hyakuzawa was happy or sad. .32-30. That was a battle. And the celebration. And the team rushing on. And how fitting that we have Tsuki narrating this. The person that cared the least about volleyball is the one that is narrating one of the greatest moments of Karasuno volleyball. And acknowledging the two that cared the most. Yeah, speed is cool, but it's not the only thing. That determination and effort. I was so into that last scene and excited about Hinata's moment where he says, I got it, let's slow it down. I forgot that it was one of my favorite offensive scenes when the twins run their minus tempo. Can't wait to watch that again. If you guys were watching me from a previous reaction episode, I probably rewinded that scene like 4 or 5 times, and I've been secretly practicing the Japanese of those phrases. Kono ichi. I've been practicing that in the car and just reliving those moments as I'm driving around. All right. Enough obsessing about that moment. I'm sure we're going to revisit it multiple times in the future. Now, we got to talk about my new starting 7 all the way up through season 4. First, we'll start with the setter. Honestly, we didn't really see that many spectacular setters. Maybe because Kageyama set the bar so high, but the only other great setters I can think of were Kenma and Atsumu. But other than that, everyone else just seemed pretty average. Now, I was deciding between Atsumu and Kageyama. Here we saw a great display of Atsumu's physicality. I mean, he is a deadly jump server. He's very creative and very deceptive. And the fact that Atsumu was able to learn on the spot and adapt the freak quick minus tempo with his brother just goes to show his understanding of volleyball and his athletic ability. But I ended up sticking with my original setter for all 4 seasons, Kageyama. I actually think their physical ability is pretty similar because Kageyama is also a great jump server. I mean, Atsumu is probably a little bit better. Kageyama's defense is phenomenal. His blocking is pretty good. So I think all those areas are pretty even. And Kageyama is younger, but also setting the team to victory. So that says something that he's able to win at a younger age compared to Atsumu. But it's Kageyama's mental maturity and consistency is the reason why I've chosen him as my starting setter over Atsumu. Not only did Kageyama respond with his own adaptation to what the twins were doing, but he was able to maximize a group of players that weren't as athletic and physical as Inari, who had Iran, the other twin that I forgot his name, right? They had more physical players, but Kageyama was able to get more out of his own players to beat Inari. And sometimes being too creative can cause an inconsistency and can throw your team off, and I think that's what we saw with Inari. Whereas Kageyama, he is creative and he is aggressive and not afraid to make those risky sets, but he does it at the right time and he doesn't overdo it. Now for the 2 outside hitters. We've definitely had a chance to see Iran play a lot, so he is my number 1 outside hitter. We've seen how dominant he can be as a left side attacker. He's almost like the outside hitter version of Ushijima. Just that same heaviness of a swing. Whether he has 3 blockers up or 2 blockers up, he can hit over them, through them, around them. And even when the blockers get a read, Aran hits so hard the ball just deflects off the block. And whenever there's one blocker up, he terminates, and every overpass he just destroys. And the fact that the entire Karasuno serving scheme was based on trying to throw Aran off just goes to show how effective and dominant Aran is on the court. Plus, he's actually a pretty good passer. Not the most consistent passer, because there were a couple times where he was struggling to pass a short serve, but he passed well enough to where Inari was able to still run an offense. The one thing that Aran does lack though is a dominant serve, which I'm surprised because he's such a powerful hitter that he has kind of this wimpy serve and a very interesting serving routine. So I wonder if that was on purpose just to give him a weakness and to make him feel a little bit more human. For my second outside hitter, I gotta go with Hoshiumi. I was really waiting to see him play more, and we only got a small glimpse of what he could do. But in that small glimpse, we saw how he not only is a great jumper, he's really fast, very good ball control, great defense, and an even smarter hitter than Aran. I mean, he has to be because he's an undersized hitter. But we saw him do all the different types of spikes down the line, roll shotting, tipping, tooling the block, and I love his attitude. Aran's kind of like that quieter, nice guy who's going to be very consistent, similar to Asahi, but you want that player that's going to be very energetic, vocal, to energize the team, and Hoshiumi is that guy. I'm really looking forward to watching him play in Season 5, and I hope we get to see more footage of him. Now, I specifically chose these two outside hitters because you don't want the same type of outside hitters on the team, because the other team will be able to dial into a rhythm if they're blocking the same type of player. But we have a great contrast between Aran, who's tall, physical, and a different attacking rhythm, kind of more hitting over the top through the block. And then we have a smaller, faster outside hitter that's going to be a smarter player. That's very difficult to handle when you have two different styles of outside hitters. And they complement each other. Hoshiumi's ball control can make up for Aran's lack of ball control. For my two middles, first we'll start with Aone. I've been going with Aone, I think, with almost every season. That's just how much I value blocking and how important it is to have a very consistent, dominant blocker. You might not always score points off the blocking, but if you can touch every single ball, you make it easier for your defense to read, and you can score more points in transition. It's almost like in basketball where you can have a center not score any points, but if he's grabbing 20, 30 rebounds per game, that's 20 and 30 more opportunities that your team has to score, and that's really critical. And that doesn't even count all the times where your block is so intimidating that you force the hitter to hit out or to do something uncharacteristic. And I really love Aone's obsession with just being this imposing best blocker out there. And that's what you want, someone to fully embrace their position and be the best at it. Another thing to think about too is that middles actually block 3 to 4 times more than they attack. Because if you think about every time a ball is served over, a middle blocker is involved in every single play. Whereas when the ball's on your side, a middle might get set maybe once every 5 or 6 plays. So they're doing that's why the position is called middle blocker, because they're doing much more blocking than attacking. For my second middle, I gotta go with Kuro. We'll learn later that I decided not to add Daichi, unfortunately, so we do need a very strong captain, calm, mature presence on the court. So Kuro not only fills that leadership role, but we saw how great he is at attacking, blocking, just all around a solid player, and his passing. When he goes in and serves, he's not going to be a defensive liability in the back row, and you want those extra moments, those extra points, where if a middle can get on a serving run, that's like a bonus advantage to your team. I would actually almost consider Kuro like a middle version of Daichi, but just more athletic and more skilled. Also, Kuro has this nurturing, coaching / teaching presence about him that he really can help his team grow. For my libero, I'm sticking with Nishinoya. Is it just me, or does Nishinoya just seem like the best libero out of all the teams? In the setter position, Kageyama and Atsumo is pretty close. We have a lot of great middles that are close and outside hitters, but it just seems like Nishinoya is just ahead above everyone else. Even though his hand passing is a weakness, he has been working on that and he's been evolving through the series, and that's a really good quality. You always want that player that is wanting to get better all the time. He's kind of like a libero version of Aone in the same way that Aone fully embraces his role as a middle blocker. Nishinoya is all about that libero life. He's trying to cover everyone. He's empowering his hitters with confidence. He loves to jump set and run the offense in transition, and he truly has that never give up mentality. So I gotta stick with Nishinoya. For my opposite hitter, I'm still going with Ushijima. he probably is the best hitter that we've seen so far in season 4. So to me, having him as an opposite is pretty obvious, but let me explain why he's extra special. First one is that he plays defense. For those who play lots of volleyball, most opposite hitters unfortunately do not play very strong defense because they're so focused on hitting, blocking, and serving. We kind of call them like the cavemen on the court. All they do is crush, but they don't take care of the smaller finesse things. So the fact that Ushijima can play defense is a huge bonus. We also saw that Ushijima is able to manage his own performance throughout the game, where he wasn't really going all out until the end of the match when the team really needed him to finish the game. And it just seemed like no matter what type of set you threw at Ushijima, he was able to find a way to terminate and adapt. And it took an entire team to be able to contain Ushijima. And if you have a very good setter like Kageyama that can set him a fast set and get Ushijima one blocker up, it's game over. And we gotta mention his serving. Ushijima's ability to take over a game with his serving, that is a rare ability. And I would say Ushijima also has some court leadership qualities. He's gonna be that steady person where he's not gonna get too emotionally up or down. And you need that type of player on the court to keep your team steady, as well as a Hoshiyumi who's gonna get fired up and really energetic. So you definitely have that good complement going on. So that's my starting 7. Definitely took me more time to think about this because there's so many other great players to consider. I'm actually kind of sad that with each season, I'm including fewer and fewer Karasuno players, and I'm especially sad that I had to replace Daichi because each season I have kind of my favorite characters here and there, like Tanaka one episode, Hinata another episode, but I would say Daichi is kind of someone that I'm always secretly rooting for on the inside. I would love to know who your starting 7 would be up through season 4 in the comments below. Stay tuned for next week where I'll be restarting my Haikyu reaction videos all the way from season 1, episode 1 with new videos every single week. If you want early access to my Haikyu reaction videos 5 days before I release them to the public, make sure you sign up for my Patreon linked below, where you also have access to other exclusive content such as voting whether I should react to the Japanese version again or the English dub version. So here's the dish that came with this box. Got this beautiful floral design here, kind of like a rice bowl. That's what I would probably use it for, or soup. And the inside came with this jelly, and we're gonna try out this jelly here. Cherry blossom themed. I always feel bad for opening these wrappings because they're so beautiful. And slurping is a skill in itself. Gotta get the juices first so it doesn't spill out. And we gotta get this in one go. This is huge, but no point in eating jelly just on half a bite. Never mind. It's way too big for one bite, but got that flour in the middle. This is a good snack here. One thing I love about these snacks, like I said, they're not too sweet. Kind of has like a cherry flavor here. All gone. I look forward to hearing about your experience with the Sakurako treats. Don't forget to watch all my other Haikyu reaction videos from all the seasons on this playlist right here. And I know you're gonna like this video right here.